Okay, perfect. So we are rolling. Welcome everyone, and thank you so much for joining today. My name is Jen Miller. So I am a business success coach with Practice Better. So I am actually also a holistic nutritionist. So I just wanted to mention that too, because I know you are all set to graduate soon and start your practices. And so I have definitely been in your shoes and sort of, been where you are. So I'm excited to take you through the platform today and show you how it can really support you in getting started with your businesses as you graduate. So before we sort of dive into the platform, and I'll share my screen in a moment, I just wanted to mention that please do feel free to utilize the chat as we go along. Ask any questions that you have. I'll try to get to them as we go, and then at the end, hopefully we'll have a couple extra minutes to answer anything that we didn't get to as well. So does that sound good to everyone? Just let me know in the chat if you're good to go, and we'll get started. Okay, I see. Great, thank you. Okay, perfect. Wonderful. So before I share my screen, I just wanted to talk a little bit about what Practice Better is. So for those of you who may be a little bit familiar, maybe some of you aren't so familiar, basically Practice Better is a complete practice management platform for health professionals. So really the platform is built to help you streamline your workflow with clients and save you a lot of time. So our co-founder and CEO, Natalie, so she built this platform based on her own need as a holistic nutritionist for something to help her with a lot of this sort of, administrative and back-end tasks that was really, taking her a lot of extra time and taking away from her time with clients. So she sort of built this platform to meet that need. So really all of the features in the platform will help you to, like I said, streamline your workflow and in a lot of cases automate a lot of these processes, administrative types of tasks. So I'm going to show you some of those today. So the other key piece to mention is that Practice Better also has a client portal. So this allows for a really wonderful client experience for your client. They're not sort of being directed to a bunch of different platforms. Everything is all in one place for them, and it's really easy to navigate for them as well. So it just creates that good experience for both the practitioner and the client. All right, so I would love to just put a quick question out to everyone before I share my screen. Who uses Practice Better currently, if anyone, and who's more, interested to learn more? So just let me know in the chat, and I'll, as you're sharing, I'll start sort of sharing my screen here. All right. I see interested to learn more. Amazing. Yeah. Okay. So it sounds like most people haven't used Practice Better yet, but are excited to learn more. So that's wonderful. All right, so let's go ahead and share my screen. And I'm actually going to share with you the homepage of the practitioner portal in Practice Better. So for this part of the session today, I'm actually going to go ahead and stop my video just so we can focus on the session. But like I said, utilize the chat if you have any questions. And then I'll pop back on video at the end there. All right, just make sure I have the chat all set here. Okay, perfect. So what you are looking at right now, like I said, is the practitioner dashboard. So this is really where, as the practitioner, oops, we've got a screen coming over there. There we go. As the practitioner, this is sort of your home page. And so this is where you have a lot of sort of the key pieces of information right at your fingertips, right when you log in. So I'll just sort of touch on a couple of the key areas, and then we'll dive into some features. So you've got your upcoming sessions. So any sessions with clients that are coming up, any requests for packages, which I'll talk about what packages are in a moment. Any tasks for you or your client. We've got some Practice Better resources as well here. So our different blog posts and that type of thing. So you can easily access those from your dashboard. Booking requests, active programs, journal entries. So you'll learn more about what all of those mean as we go along. But I just wanted to highlight sort of, when you first log in, this is sort of your homepage. All right. So the first thing that I want to touch on to sort of highlight the platform is onboarding. So when you think about onboarding your client, so this is sort of everything that needs to happen when you very first start working with your client. So, from the scheduling, managing their payments to forms, reminder, notifications, that kind of thing. So this, these onboarding tasks might seem simple at first glance, but really without sort of a system in place to help streamline a lot of those, it can be super time consuming for you as a practitioner, like I sort of mentioned earlier. So we're going to take a look at a few of the features in Practice Better that can really support and optimize that onboarding process for your clients. So the first thing I'm going to navigate us to is actually your services. So I'm just going from my practice to my services. I'm just actually going to go ahead and hide my bookmarks so they're not distracting us. There we go. Okay, so I just went from my practice to my services, and I'm going to share one service that I already have set up, which is an initial consultation. And I'm going to walk you through sort of the different aspects of your services that you can really customize and Practice Better. All right, perfect. So the first thing that I want to really highlight is payment options. So in Practice Better, you can process all payments right within the platform. So if you link your Square or Stripe account, then you're able to require your clients to pay at the time of booking. So basically what that means is when the client goes to book the service, they'll be required to pay before they can request that service. So that just takes care of that whole process for you, and you don't have to worry about following up with invoices or anything like that. However, if you don't want to process payments in the platform, you don't have to. And you could just go display fee, or you can hide the fee altogether. And then there's another option to just suggest to pay at booking. So you kind of have those two options when you link your Stripe or Square account. And I see a question here, can you link PayPal? No, not at the moment, unfortunately. It's only Stripe and Square that we have the integration with. But if you do use PayPal, externally, you could simply, send your client an invoice and then have them pay through PayPal, but it's not integrated at the moment. All right. So the next piece to highlight is service availability. So this is basically the different options for how you can conduct your service. So, of course, right now, many of us are not working in person, so you may not be using that option. However, you can select that if you are. You can choose to do this by phone. And then lastly, online video chat. So this is the one that I wanted to spend a minute talking about. In Practice Better, we have sort of two different options for telehealth or video sessions with your client. So the first is Practice Better Telehealth, which is our built-in sort of video conferencing feature. And so this can be used with your clients one-on-one. So if you're only working with one client at a time, then that would be a great option for you. Everything in the platform I'll just mention is compliant and secure, so you don't have to worry about that at all. If you are working with more than one client at once, so like say a group program, and you're doing say a group coaching session, then you would integrate your Zoom account. So when you integrate your Zoom, then you're able to conduct sessions with more than one client at a time. So with Zoom, I'll mention that, so you have an existing Zoom account, you can link that. And then if you need that to be compliant, then you can purchase a compliant Zoom account through Practice Better at a much reduced price. But if you don't need that compliancy with your Zoom account, then you can just integrate your existing Zoom account. So yeah, I mean, that's something that, if you need more information on as you go along, we have a really great set of resources on Zoom and telehealth that we can definitely support you with. But I just wanted to mention that you have a couple of options when it comes to doing those telehealth sessions. So I see another question here, is the separate cost? No. So the Practice Better telehealth feature is just built into the platform, and it's not an added cost. It's just, built in. But great question. All right, so I'm going to scroll down here to notification options. So this is another area I wanted to highlight because this allows you to actually customize the reminder emails that are sent to your client for your specific service. So right now we're looking at this initial consultation service that I had set up, and say I want to, have a custom sort of write up to my client that gets sent out to them when the session is booked, when it's updated, when the reminder is sent, and so on. So you can edit those templates. So I'll just click on this one here to show you what that looks like. And this is basically your email notification builder. So you have the option to customize the subject, the title, and then the body of the email itself. So you'll see here that there are placeholder text. So anywhere that has these percentage signs on either side, those are called placeholder text. So they basically pull from either your session information or your client's file. So with the client information, this is really nice because it helps you to personalize this message to your client. So as you see here, this will pull from their first name. So it'll say, hi, Mary, if that's your client's name when it gets sent to them. So it's really nice in terms of that personalization aspect. And that's just, if you just click here, these are the different placeholders. So like I said, different things from your client's file, but also the session information as well. So you can totally customize that, as well as the subject and the title. All right, yeah, so you can go into each of these if you want to customize all of them. You do have that option. You would just simply select this button here and that'll pop up for you to customize. Yeah, all right, so let me just check if we've got any other questions. Okay, nothing at the moment. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to scroll back up to advanced options when we're setting up our service here. And I wanted to make mention to booking page forms. So this is a feature that actually allows you to attach a form that your client is required to complete at the time of booking that service. So as part of that, booking the service, so they'll go through and they'll choose the date and time, they'll pay if that's required, and then they'll be required to complete a form if you've attached one here. So this is really nice because it allows you to collect information from your client ahead of time. So, and it also automates it all, right? Like you don't have to manually send them a form, and it's all done completely, online and in the system. So as soon as they complete that form, then you have access to that in their client record. So everything is all done online, which is really nice. So with the forms, you can see I have one sort of added here, this functional nutrition intake form, but you can add them just by clicking add another. And these forms are ones that you will have previously set up in your Practice Better account. So I'll show you in a moment where you actually set those up. And we have an existing list of form templates that you can use, or you can use as sort of starting points, or you can build your own customized form as per your needs. So there's the form builder itself is really wonderful. It's very, I would say, comprehensive, and you have a lot of options to sort of create the form that works best for you. Yeah, so I just really love this feature, allowing your client to sort of complete that at the time of booking, because like I said, it allows you to collect that information ahead of time, allows you to be more prepared for your meeting with your client, make sure, it's a good fit before speaking with them, that kind of thing. So just another option to allow you to sort of streamline that initial booking of your service. And I see a question here, can you add a PDF form there? Not at this point here, but you could, if you wanted, you could build your PDF form into a Practice Better form. So I'll show you in a minute the forms builder and how that would look, but you could absolutely sort of take your PDF and build that as a form in Practice Better, and then you'd be able to add that there. Okay, perfect. So once we've got our service all set up, the next thing that we need to make sure we do is to set up our availability. So I'm going to go to My Practice, My Availability. So basically, your availability is the time slots in which you've set for clients to be able to book your services. So this is an important part because you need to basically let Practice Better know when you want clients to be able to book your service. So if I click on one of the slots I've got set up already here, you can see that there's a start and end time, a date, and you can choose for this availability slot to recur. And this is really wonderful because, again, this takes out a lot of the manual time-consuming aspects. You can, if you have a similar schedule each week or day or month, you can set that to recur as per your availability. So that's really nice. So for this one, I have it to recur weekly, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 9 to 5. So that's the availability I've selected. And then with each availability slot, you'll want to choose the service that goes there. So, for example, say on, Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 9 to 5, I want to be able to conduct my initial consult, my follow-ups, but I don't want to do any discovery sessions during those time slots. Then I would only select those 3 where I want clients to be able to book those services, and I would just leave that one off so that, they can't book that discovery session in that time slot, basically. All right, so I'm just gonna go save. So this is really nice, again, because you can totally customize your availability to your needs. So I've got another slot set up here that's just every week on Tuesdays, and that I have set up to, allow me to conduct any service. So basically what that means is when the client goes to book, they will only be showed options that are within that availability time slot, if that makes sense. So I see here, Alex has asked, can you customize the length of the sessions? Yeah, absolutely. So that was, here, I'll just quickly go back to the session itself. So when you're setting up the session, that's just right here. So duration, so you can completely customize that to fit your needs. All right. Great question though. I see, does the Practice Better calendar link with any external calendars? Yes, it does, Sarah. So we integrate with Google Calendar, so you can, I'll show you in a minute where you can integrate those, but yeah, it's very simple to do so. And once you integrate that, then it'll make sure that anything you've got booked in your Google Calendar will be blocked off from clients booking during those time slots. So it'll integrate and totally sync to make sure that you don't get double booked. All right. So now we've set up our service and the availability for that service, and next we're going to want to start booking our clients. So how can clients actually book those services with us? So there's a couple of different ways that you can do that. So I'm just back on our services page here, and I'm just going to continue using this initial consultation as our example. And if we click on the 3 dots here, so this is our more options button. So there's a few different things we can do. So the first thing is we can invite our client to book. So this would be if, only if we already had the client existing in Practice Better and we wanted to just invite them to book a service. But if it's going to be a new client, we're going to want to go share link. And this is going to populate a URL link that will take your client to your booking page for this specific service. So you can use this link anywhere. You can use it in, your emails, on your website, in your newsletter, on your social media. And we even have the option to create a short link. So if you simply toggle this on, that'll shorten that link down for you. So that's really nice, especially for social media or for your website. It'll take you to the same spot. It just creates automatically a shorter, sort of a little cleaner looking link for you. So I'm just going to go visit page so you can take a look at what the booking page for this service will actually look like to a client. So if we just go visit page, oh, you know what? You guys might not be able to see this. Let me know in the chat if you can see this. I might have set it up to only share my original screen. Can you guys see a new screen, or is it the same screen? You can see it. Amazing. Thanks, Alex. Just want to confirm before I start talking about it. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so this is your bookings page for your initial consultation. So once you've shared that link with your client, they'll click on it and it will take them here. And so one thing I'll just quickly mention that you'll notice is that I have set up sort of custom colors and logo. So that is available on certain plans. You can actually customize that so it can fit with your branding, which is really nice. So once the client gets to this page, they'll be able to choose how they want to conduct that session, but that's only based on the options you've sort of enabled. So let's just choose this for an example, and then they're going to be required to select a date and time. Now, again, this is going to be based on the availability you've set up as well as your calendar. So if you have, sessions booked, it won't show those slots as available. So just wanted to mention that there. And then the client will go next and they'll enter all their information. So that's, very simple. It's very easy for the client to complete that process. And then you'll get that booking request on your end. All right. Yeah, so that's how you would sort of invite your client to book or share your booking link with them. Again, really simple. You can, share the booking link for your individual services one at a time. But another option is to actually share the link to your sort of general bookings page, which is going to have all of your services. So I'm just going to navigate here to booking pages and widgets, and I'll show you where that is. So if you just go to under public bookings page, this link right here, this is going to allow new and existing clients to request sessions from you. So let's just copy that and I'll go ahead and just show you what that looks like here. So this is going to look, sort of similar from an aesthetics perspective, but you'll notice that I have all of my packages and services now listed on this booking page. So anything that you have allowed to be public for your clients to book will show up here. So this is going to not just list, a single individual service, but everything that you have allowed to be public for your clients to book. So it's up to you, if you want to work with your clients and allow them to sort of choose what works best for them. Maybe you have a link to this public bookings page on your website, and then your client can choose, which service they want to book. Or maybe, you just want to send or share the link to an individual service because that's the only one you're booking currently. You can do that as well. So I just wanted to sort of share those different options that you have. All right, take a peek if we have any more questions coming through. Okay, I'm not seeing anything else. So let's move on to sort of the next step, which will be once you're working with your clients. So, your client has been onboarded, they've booked, they filled out their forms, they've paid, that kind of thing. And so now you'll want to start working together, right? So anything from managing their records and files to conducting their sessions, writing their notes, providing them protocols, that kind of thing. So the process of really working with your clients is also something that is really sort of streamlined using Practice Better. All right, so I'm going to take you to a specific client record to sort of highlight this. So I'm going to use Mary Smith as an example for us. So I just clicked on Mary Smith. This is her sort of full client record. So basically everything on this page is all related to Mary herself. So I'll just sort of highlight the little widgets that are in the middle here first. So we've got the recent activity stream, which basically is a log of any actions or tasks that have gone on in relation to Mary. So I'm just sort of scrolling through, there's tons here, but basically anything from, a session was booked, a form was completed, I shared a note with Mary, anything that was done in relation to Mary's client record is going to show up in this log. And another thing I'll highlight is when, a session is booked or, a note is shared or anything that has sort of an automated notification that goes out as part of it, we'll have this sort of tag letting you know if the email was delivered to your client. So if there was an issue and the email bounced or it wasn't delivered or there was an error, it will show you that here. So in this case, all of the emails to Mary have been successfully delivered, but if they weren't, you'd be able to see that here, which is really nice because then you know for sure that your client did receive that email. Another thing that you can actually do is pin sort of a custom note to your client's recent activity stream. So as you can see, I have two here at the top, and these would just be sort of little pieces of information about your client that you don't want to forget or you want to keep top of mind. Maybe it's an allergy or just something that, some of their likes and preferences that you want to keep top of mind. So you would just simply type that in here. we would go add note. And then if you click this pin button, that'll make sure it stays at the top of this sort of stream of information. So if you don't pin it, it'll just sort of, go down to the bottom as the other ones would by date. But yeah, it's just a really nice option, again, to be able to have those maybe more so random or important pieces of information about your client sort of at top of mind so you don't forget them. So on the right-hand side here, there's a list of all of Mary's upcoming sessions, any booking requests, package requests, or tasks for Mary, and then tasks for you as a practitioner that are linked to Mary. And then as well, any journal entries, which I'll touch on journal entries in a moment. Okay. So the first thing that I'm going to navigate us to is just to Mary's basic information. So this is just sort of her name, her date, her birthday, her contact information, that kind of thing, her mailing address. So sort of just the basic info for Mary. We also have a spot for all of her medical history, her diet and lifestyle information, any measurements and vitals. So really just, again, the spot that has all of that information for your client. So I'm just seeing a question here. Can you show us how her completed forms look and where they're saved? Yeah, absolutely, Kelly. So I'll get to forms in a moment, but I can definitely show you her forms, absolutely. Okay, so the next thing I want to touch on before we go to forms, though, is Mary's bookings and packages. So this is where, once you have a session booked with Mary and, it's coming up. So I've got this one, quote unquote, coming up with Mary today. So this one has been set up as a Zoom call. So when I'm ready to start that session, I simply just click on Start Zoom Meeting, and that's going to open up the Zoom window for me to start conducting that session. So Mary herself, the client, will have the same link, and that will just allow you to both join that session together. And if this were just a Practice Better telehealth session, it would look very similar. It would just say Start Telehealth Session. You would simply click on that and it would start the video session. So really, really simple in terms of actually conducting those sessions. All right. So the next thing is notes that I want to take a look at. So when you're working with your clients, you'll likely be wanting to take notes. So maybe you're putting in a few notes before the session or you're taking notes during the session. But we have, a feature called Notes that allows you to input all of that information. So I'm just going to go to add a new note here. And by the way, this may pop up a few times in our demo today. Basically, it's because I'm on the team plan. So it's asking me to choose which practitioner. If you're just on a solo practitioner plan, this won't be relevant. So you won't see this pop up. But I just wanted to mention that in case you're wondering what this is as we go along. Okay, so once I've started to create a note, you'll see that I'm given the option to choose from template. So note templates are something that you can set up in your account, basically to allow you to not have to retype your information over and over again. So, for example, maybe when you are conducting your client sessions, you often ask all of the same questions during the initial consultation, or you have, certain points of information that you always want to share with the clients during that session. You could set those up as a template, allowing you to not have to retype those over and over again. So that's going to save you a ton of time. So I will just actually choose one of the templates that I have set up here, which is the SOAP notes, just to highlight what the notes sort of look like. So you've got your title, your summary, your date, and then you can choose to share notes or attach documents with your client. So I'll talk to that in a minute, but if you can basically choose to have certain sections of your notes shared and not shared. So if you do have that, you would select that button there. And then let's say that, let's scroll down to the bottom here, the plan aspect of the note, you want to share that with the client. So you would toggle this on here and make this section visible to my client. You would toggle that on, and then that will ensure that only this section will be shared with your client. So anything in this section, this one, or this one, any sections that don't have this toggled on will not be shared with your client. So it just gives you a bit of flexibility in terms of, yeah, what you want, what information you want your client to have, and what information you just want to be on your end in their client record. Yeah, so you can add as many sort of text boxes as you want just by clicking on the red fast action button here. Whoops. And going add text section. And that will just add a new section at the bottom there, as you can see here. And so with the formatting bar here, you've got a lot of different options. You can change the color of your text, the size, you can bold, you can really change the formatting, you can do bullet points, numbered lists, indent, that kind of thing. You can also choose to insert images or videos. So you have a lot of sort of, I guess, customizability with your notes. Another thing to mention with notes is that you can attach documents. So I know someone earlier had asked if you could attach a PDF to the session itself. So you can't there, but if you have a PDF document that you want to attach to your note, you can do so just by going attach files, and that will just ask you to select a file from your computer hard drive, and you would just attach that here. Another thing you can do, which I will talk to protocols in a moment, but you can link your client's protocol to their note. So this is really nice and to help keep you really organized, meaning, you know, you can write your notes for your client's session, say it was today on July 14th, and then you also created a protocol for your client today based on the session. So then you can actually link that protocol to the note so that it's all in one place, so that, you know, when you need to go back and check, you know, maybe for the next session, you know, what was shared with the client, what was the protocol from the last session together, you can find that all in one place. In addition, you can also set up tasks for your client that are associated with this note simply by going add task, and we actually just save it first, and then it'll let us add a task. There we go. And so you can create a task for yourself or for your client. And that will, let's just go in here so I can show you. So basically you can choose the name and the note, you know, additional notes for the task. And then you can choose due dates and reminder dates. So this is really nice in helping keep your client accountable because that's going to, you know, send them reminders based on those dates for that specific task. All right. Wonderful. So protocols is the next thing I want to highlight. So yeah, so with protocols, this is basically used for a set of recommendations you have for your client with a specific focus. So let's just go into this one that I have as a draft here, and I'll show you sort of the different aspects of your protocol that you can set up. So the name, the focus, the date, and then you can add any notes that you have regarding that protocol. You can attach files. And then scrolling down here, this is something I really want to highlight, is you can add food and supplement recommendations to their protocol. So this is really nice. So with food recommendations, these are something that you're going to set up, but that you can then save and use for future. So you don't have to retype these over and over again if you have, you know, common food recommendations that you give to your clients, like, you know, for example, cut back on sugar intake, and you have, you know, some examples of those foods, and, you know, you can type any additional notes in relation to that recommendation. You can save that, and then you can just reuse that over and over again with your clients. Again, just streamlining that process and allowing you to, yeah, just save more time and not have to retype over and over again. I know that's just something that's a super common sort of roadblock with a lot of practitioners, is just spending a lot of time retyping or resharing the same information. So this is just another way that you can avoid having to do that. And then with supplement recommendations, so we have an integration with FullScript, so a supplement dispensary. So if you are someone who uses FullScript, you can integrate your account, and then the client will be provided with their supplement protocol, and they can simply just click on that to purchase those supplements through FullScript. Yeah, and Alex is saying, I'm not sure FullScript is available in the UK. Yeah, that might be the case, Alex. I know the team has received lots of requests for different for different dispensaries. So I know that that's something on the roadmap. At the moment, we just have the integration with FullScript. However, yeah, we're always working on new updates and improvements. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see something else coming out in the future. We don't have an integration with one in the UK at the moment, but what you could do sort of as a workaround is set up a custom supplement, which you can do. So for example, this one here is sort of a custom supplement, and then you could add a link in the description to your dispensary that you use. So it wouldn't be directly integrated with Practice Better, but you would still be able to link your client to your dispensary from your recommendation, if that makes sense. Okay, perfect. And then scrolling down here, we also have lifestyle recommendations. So this is similar to your food recommendations in that you can set them up and you can save them. So again, allowing you to not have to retype them over and over again. And then you've got another option at the bottom here if you want to attach any additional files. Okay. Just going to check if we've got any more questions coming through on protocols or notes. Okay, I'm not seeing anything at the moment. All right. Okay, so the next thing I'll show is forms, because I know we had a couple of questions on forms. So these are forms that have been sent to Mary to complete. And let's just find a completed form here. So this is a stress check-in form that Mary has completed. I'm just going to click on that. And this is going to give you just a sort of a quick insight into what a completed form will look like. Now, this is just an example form. This is a super short form, just a really quick one that the client has completed. But one thing that I'll highlight is when you go into your client's completed forms, you can actually add private notes about your client's submission. So this is really nice because if your client completes their form and say, you know, they have their stress levels 8 out of 10, you want to add a note, something related to that, so that it, you can come back to it and you can actually pin that note. So I'll just put note, and if you pin that, that's going to show up here in your pinned notes. Just allowing you to sort of more easily come back to your pinned comments on their form. If it's a much longer form, that's really helpful because you're not having to then just scroll through the form looking for your notes. You can just simply click on pinned notes, and that'll give you a summary of all the notes you've pinned right there. So that's just a little insight into what a client's completed form will look like. Again, this is just an example of quite a short form. But I will show you the form builder itself. And I see a question here. Does the form automatically populate the client's notes? Would these appear on your notes? Alex, I'm not sure I'm quite clear on your question, but if you're asking, does the form automatically populate sort of the client's information that they've inputted into the form? Like once the client completes the form, then that will show up in their completed form. So yeah, as soon as that's completed, like I said, you'll see that here. You'll get a notification when the client completes it, so you'll know they've done it, and then you can just simply click on it, and that if this is the client's completed form. For this one, like I said, it's just a short one, so there's not a ton of information, but you can see the client put their level of stress, they entered their biggest stressors, and then they noted on this chart some of the coping mechanisms that they've used. So yeah, that will come through to you. Okay, wonderful. So if you're wanting to actually build a form, I'll just quickly show you where you do that. So if you go to My Practice, Forms and Waivers. So in Practice Better, we have a set of form sort of templates for you to choose from, or you can build it from scratch. So I'm just seeing a question here, and it might be related. Are there available only better practice forms, i.e. not PDF forms that we could have attached? So Kelly, you could attach, like if you wanted to attach a form to your client's note or protocol, you can attach documents there, or you could just upload it to your client's document section. But if it's a PDF form, they'll have to then download it, fill it out, and re-upload it to the platform, which is totally fine. They can do that, but it's not going to look like this. Like you'll have, if you want it to be completed online inside of the platform, then you'll need to build it into the platform, if that makes sense. Yeah, okay. So yeah, if you're wanting to create a form, let's say from a template that we already have started for you, just go create from template here. And these are sort of a list of form templates that we already have in the platform that can sort of be used as starting points for you. So, if you join, you can sort of take a peek at all of these and see if any of them might work as a starting point for you. Because once you select a template, you can still completely customize and edit it, but it's just really nice. If there's, maybe a few questions that you think you'll use, then you don't have to sort of rebuild that from scratch. So let's just look at the intake questionnaire template as an example. All right, so this is the form builder itself. Now, I'm not going to go into huge detail on this because that could be a whole webinar in itself. Our form builder has a lot of different options. On the right-hand side here, all of the different form elements that you can add. So anything from, just text boxes to short response, yes or no's, multiple choice, tables, scales, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of different options with your form. So this is, again, one that I opened from a template. So I'll just sort of slowly scroll down so you can sort of see the types of information and the types of elements of your form that you can choose to use within Practice Better. So I'm just scrolling down here, so you'll see yes or no questions, tables, that kind of thing, and short answers. So you can really build an extensive form that looks really nice in the system if you want to. So that's just a little taste of forms. Again, we have a ton of resources on forms themselves. We actually have a deep dive webinar that we did on forms that is up on our YouTube page. So if you are building forms, that's a really great resource to sort of point to. All right. So the other thing I'll just mention is that we also do have the ability to run online programs and courses in Practice Better. So this is another feature that has a lot to it. So I'm not going to dive deep into that today because that, again, could be its own webinar. But you can run fixed date and evergreen programs on the platform, meaning fixed date, from X date to X date. So those are ones that you would be running maybe just once, but then you can sort of duplicate them to run them again, or an evergreen where clients can sort of register and start at any time. So the start date is based on when the client signs up. So that's a really nice feature to be able to run your programs right in Practice Better. The benefit of doing that is that then the program itself becomes part of your client's record. So if you're running, a program and it's external to the platform, it's not going to be part of your client's record, and so it's not as easy to sort of have that information all at your fingertips as well. And so again, with the platform, everything is secure, and so your whole program, your client running through the program, it will all be secure in the system. If they're a part of any group programs where there's a group chat or anything like that, that will all be secure as well. So as opposed to maybe using something like Facebook where that wouldn't be necessarily that way, you can keep that all in one secure platform, which is really beneficial. And again, with programs, is that if that's something that you are interested in running, again, we have a deep dive webinar that we did on programs that is on our YouTube page. That's really wonderful. That will dive deep into all of the features and how you can build programs. All right, so the last sort of piece that I wanted to touch on here is client accountability. So there's a few sort of features within the platform that speak to being able to really keep your clients accountable and keep connected with them in real time in a secure way. So the first thing is the chat. So this is our secure messaging sort of center where you can have different types of chats. So you can have chats one-on-one with your clients, with groups for your group programs. If you are on a team plan with other practitioners, you can chat with other practitioners here as well. So this is really nice as it allows you, again, to just keep in communication with your client. One thing I'll mention is we do have an app, a Practice Better app that you and your client can both download. And that's really nice for the chat because then you have that communication literally right at your fingertips on your phone, always in a secure way. So just wanted to mention that. And another thing with our chat that you can do, which is nice as a practitioner, is you can set up an autoresponder for your chat, which will basically display a message to your client during a set period that you set up. You know, so for example, say it's outside of your work hours, you maybe set it up from say like 6 p.m. to the next morning at like 8 a.m. or something. So if a client messages you during that time, they'll get an automated reply from you with whatever message you want to share with them. So maybe you say, you know, this is outside of my business hours. If it's an emergency, please, you know, contact emergency services, or, you know, whatever sort of message you want to convey to them. You can have that set up as an autoresponder in your chat, which is really nice. Okay, so I'm just going to show you sort of the different chat styles. So this is a chat one-on-one with Mary and myself. So you can kind of see that it's just, you know, the older messages and then the newer messages. It's sort of just a chat back and forth as if it were sort of like a text message sort of setup. But if you're in a group program, you can actually set up your chat feed to be a lot more dynamic. And so it would look something like this. This is, again, just an example, but you can add photos. Clients can comment on your posts. You can add links, you can tag people. So it's a little bit more like a Facebook feed versus sort of just a one-on-one chat feed, if that makes sense. So I just wanted to sort of highlight that here. So this is just one that I've kind of set up just to highlight a couple of the aspects of it there. Okay, so your question, can you message all of your clients at once, but make it look like it's individual? Yeah, so one feature that we have on some plans, this is not available on all of our plans, but some plans you have broadcast messages feature available. So this basically allows you to send a message out to your clients, which will come through to them not in a group chat, but rather in an individual chat or an individual email. So that would be one way that you could set that up, Alex. And with broadcast messages, you can set them up to be scheduled. So that's really nice because, again, that supports just automating that process for you. Really good question. Okay. And then the last thing I want to highlight is our journals feature. So I'm going to go back to Mary, our test client here, and just go to her journals to show you sort of what this looks like. So basically in Practice Better, we have two different types of journals, which, by the way, I'll mention that right now our team is working on sort of a refresh of our journals features. So pretty soon there will be a lot more functionality available for this. But as it stands right now at the moment, this is kind of what it looks like. So we've got our food and mood journal, which allows your client to track their food, their mood, and their water intake. And then we've got our lifestyle journal, which allows your client to track like their mood, their bowel movements, and any sort of free form notes or comments that they want to share with you. So I'm going to go into Mary's food and mood journal. And let's take a look at, oh, sorry, I'm just going to go into her entries here. Let's take a look at her entry from June 1st, just to show you sort of an example of what that might look like. So as you can see, there is, you know, a lot of different information here. With these daily targets and totals, this is optional. So if you don't want that to show up for your client, you can disable that. And I'll show you how you do that in a moment, because just depending on the type of work you're doing with your client or who the client is, you may or may not want them to have that information. So with this, Mary has entered her breakfast, lunch, and dinner. As you can see, if she's entered a branded food, you can see the brand there. If it wasn't branded, then obviously the brand name wouldn't show up there. They can completely, you know, put in custom entries too, but they do have the option to add the brand if it was a branded food. And then another really nice thing is that as a practitioner, you can actually comment on their journal entries. So as you can see here, I've asked Mary a question and she's replied. And it's just another way to sort of, yeah, communicate with your client, but on specific things. So, you know, you could just put this into the chat with Mary, but it's kind of nice to comment back and forth on her journal, because then you know that, you know, those conversations are specifically related to certain maybe entries in her journal. So just wanted to mention that as an option for you. Okay, I'm just going to go back and show you with the journals, the different options that you have. So if we just click on the food and mood journal here, if I don't want to display those nutritional details that I mentioned just on the other page there for Mary specifically, I can disable those here. So that's just an option for you that I wanted to highlight. All right, perfect. So those are really some of the main, I guess, features and tools that I wanted to share with you all today to really help you, like I said many times, I'm kind of a broken record, but streamline your practice and save you a lot of time. I mean, this is why the platform was built. This is why, you know, our users love it. It's just that it really supports an amazing experience for the practitioner and the client. It allows you as the practitioner to, yeah, just really focus on your work with your clients versus getting caught up in all of this administrative and sort of back end tasks that, you know, that's not your passion. You want to work with your clients. So we want to make that, you know, as easy as possible for you. Okay, and I'm just seeing another question here. Can you link Practice Better to your website? So Alex, do you mean link your clients like from your website, a link that takes them to Practice Better, or the other way around? Just let me know in the chat what you mean by that. And as you're typing that, Alex, I'm actually going to share, so we at Practice Better, we really want to support you all in being able to get started with the platform. And so to do that, we'd love to share a discount code with you today, which will give you 30% off for 3 months on the platform. And that discount code is going to be valid for a week from today. So until the 14th of, or sorry, today's the 14th, until the 21st of July. So I'm just going to copy that code itself into the chat box, okay? So the code is BCNH Students 30. So I'm copying that into the chat. Make sure to copy that, and you know, if you need it, I think Alex will have that later if you don't get a chance to copy it. But just wanted to mention that as just, you know, a way to help you get started if you are interested in joining Practice Better. We have a really, really wonderful customer success team. So I also want to mention that, because if you have any further questions, you know, about signing up or features that we weren't able to cover today, or, you know, once you join, you need support in terms of maybe troubleshooting or that kind of thing, our customer success team is really incredible. They are available for you all the time. They're super quick at getting back to you with you know, support and that. So just wanted to mention that. I will type their email address into the chat box here as well. It's help@practicebetter.io. So I've just put that into the chat. Definitely take that down, and like I said, if you have any further questions after our session today, then definitely reach out to them directly and they'll be able to support you. Okay, and I just see Alex had typed here, link the Practice Better portal to your own website, so if they visit you, they can get through to your booking point. Yeah, absolutely. So when I was showing the website links and widgets, so let me just go back there. We just go to your booking pages and widgets. So that's the link that I showed here, Alex. So your public bookings page. So that's a link that you could include on your website that would take your clients to your Practice Better bookings page. So like I was saying earlier, you can have them link to your public bookings page, which will include all of your services that you've listed as public. Or if you just want to link your clients from your website to a specific service to book, say, just your initial consultation, then when you go to your service and you go share link, then you would put that link on your website. So it just depends if you want them to be directed to a booking page for your single service or a booking page for all of your services, which is here, as I showed. Okay, so Alex saying I can't see the discount code or help details in the chat box. Okay. I mean, I put it in there. Let me try it again. Let's see here. Okay, I just copied it and put it again. Let me know if you guys can see that now. See it now. Okay, perfect. Wonderful. Yeah, so there's the discount code and our email for our customer success team. So definitely reach out, like I said, if there's any questions. And yeah, I hope that this was, helpful for you all today. I really enjoyed sort of being here and sharing the platform. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you on the platform if you do decide to join. So yeah, we'll wrap things up there. And for anyone watching this as a replay as well, thank you for watching. And we look forward to seeing you on the platform as well. All right, thanks everybody. Take care and have a really nice evening. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye.